At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
And I am Anthony Sied. Pleasant welcome to Focus on Liberia. You heard it there. We are about educating, elevating, and promoting all things Liberia. Welcome. If you are just joining us, we want to really welcome you to this edition of our program, The Hour of Politics. The topic for today is Councillor Tiawan Gongloe calls on government to arrest Minister McGill for rape. A deputy minister at the Ministry of Youth and Sport, J. Brian McGill, has been accused of rape. And to this point, he is a free man. Councillor Gongloe, a lawyer, is calling on the government. He particularly mentioned the president. He also mentioned the police chief, Mr. Gregory Coleman, calling on them particularly, in his words, to act very swiftly and issue an arrest. So if you are not familiar with what happened before we bring in Councillor Gongloe to speak, I am going to now give you a summary of this particular case. And then we will hear from the Liberian government, its position regarding this matter. Then after we hear from the government, we will hear from Councillor Gongloe. And then I will do a little bit of analysis. So the case involving Deputy Minister J. Brian McGill of Liberia's Ministry of Youth and Sport is both disturbing and deeply consequential. McGill is accused of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old, the daughter of the ministry's deputy chief of security. So this is a minister at the Ministry of Youth and Sport. And then this very ministry deputy chief of police is the 14-year-old girl child that has been allegedly raped by this deputy minister. The girl reportedly confided in her father after being found late at night near the SKD complex. She described multiple incidents, including threats to keep her silent and a particularly violent episode on August 30th, 2005. This is how serious this matter has been. He threatened this young child to keep her silent. And there was a violent episode. And he allegedly did this to the deputy chief of security for the very ministry where he works as a deputy minister. He didn't go anywhere but the very ministry he works in. And the man who is the deputy chief of security, somebody who is charged with the responsibility to provide security at the very ministry he works, it is the person's daughter he's being accused of raping. So the case has gained national attention after an audio was released. There was an audio recording, or there is, an audio recording to this as evidence that this actually happened, including a statement from the victim's father. And the victim's father is Christopher Davis. Mr. Davis have every reason to believe that his daughter was raped because his daughter confided in him. He emotionally recounted the trauma and he demanded justice. He did not behave like some other fathers who do. That, oh, this person is a big man. I work at the ministry, so I don't want to get this person into trouble. There are reports and instances where some parents will send a child outside of Monrovia. But Christopher Davis said, no, this is my daughter. He got so emotional, rightfully so, and recounted the trauma. And he demanded justice. His testimony now has sparked widespread outrage and calls for accountability. Now, this definitely shows that there are sufficient evidence. The girl who's being raped, allegedly, says something to her father. The father recounted that. There's an audio to that effect. And the father is demanding justice. The girl told the truth, despite her being threatened. Now, what is the government saying? We have the government official statement from the Liberia National Police. So the Liberia National Police confirmed receipt of the complaint and launched an investigation on our 8 women and children Social Protection Division. McGill has reportedly made himself available for questioning and requested a leave of absence. So the minister, from what we know, was invited by the police after the police received the official complaint, and he made himself available. After the questioning, he asked for leave of absence from work. He said, well, I don't want to be working. And that was accepted by the ministry and forwarded to the president, President Joseph Yemambuaka. And as we speak, we're talking about an incident that took place in August. And we mentioned that on August 30th, there was a violent episode that took place when the girl was threatened. There was an investigation. Former complaint. The president was informed, and they accepted his request to take a leave, and he's a free man as we speak. The president is yet to act. The police is yet to act. So despite Liberia's law, Liberia's rape law of 2005, let's bring in some legal issues here. So we have the Liberia rape law of 2005. President Mbwaka was vice president at the time when the laws were passed. We classifies statutory rape as a first-degree non-bailable offense. The accused remains free. You get it? So in 2005, we passed a rape law that made statutory rape a first-degree non-bailable offense. And the evidence, as I've explained, including audio, very overwhelming. And yet, despite rape being a first-degree non-bailable offense, the accused, Mr. McGill, remains a free man. To the full knowledge of the police and to the full knowledge of the president. And so critics now argue that this undermines public trust. And they are right. And not only public trust, but legal integrity. Institutions like the Ministry of Gender and the Liberia National Police have been criticized, rightfully so, for their slow and lenient response. Imagine if they were an ordinary Liberian citizen. They would be in police cell by now. But this person is a big man. He having to be a Unity Party official. And so it is obvious now selective justice is being applied. This case is not just about an official. It is a test of Liberia's commitment to justice. How are we protecting our girl children? How are we protecting our girl children? We've been talking about institutional accountability. This is like a low-hanging fruit where the president can show a swift accountability. Investigation has been done. Report has been forwarded to him. There are audio evidence for this. So, if you would like, we will now hear from the police. What has the police been saying, or what is the government's position? This is what the police has to say, and then we'll get to Councillor Tiawan Gongloe.
Good evening, Liberia. I'm Assistant Commissioner of Police, Susie T. Cllr, Head of the Women and Children Protection Section of the Liberia National Police. I bring you this statement in response to a matter that has generated significant public attention and concern. On August 30, 2025, the Liberia National Police received a formal complaint alleging the sexual abuse of a 14-year-old minor. The accused in this case is Mr. J. Bryant McGill, Deputy Minister for Youth Development at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Given the sensitive nature of this allegation and the involvement of a public official, we fully recognize the gravity of the situation and the public's call for transparency. Let it be clear, an investigation is actively ongoing. The case has been referred to the Women and Children Protection Section at the Liberia National Police Headquarters, and we are working in close coordination with the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, the Sex Crimes Unit at the Ministry of Justice, and relevant forensic and social service teams. To date, we have conducted interviews with key individuals, reviewed surveillance footage, and taken steps to ensure the safety and well-being of the victim. The suspect has availed himself for questioning, and additional investigative actions are currently underway. It is important to emphasize that rape is a high sensitive matter, and the Liberia National Police treats such cases with the highest degree of confidentiality. The protection, privacy, and well-being of the victim remain our top priority throughout the investigative process. We are working closely with social workers and medical professionals to ensure that the victim receives the care and support she needs. The Liberia National Police wishes to assure the public that no one is above the law. We remain firmly committed to impartiality, professionalism, and the pursuit of justice, regardless of status or affiliation. We respectfully ask the public to refrain from speculation and allow the investigative process to proceed with integrity and care. We understand the emotional weight this case carries and are treating it with the seriousness it deserves. Updates will be provided as appropriate, and we will continue to act in the best interest of justice and the protection of vulnerable persons. Thank you for your continued trust in the Liberia National Police.
So that was the official statement from the government through the Liberian National Police. Now, let us hear from a man of the law, someone who is not just a criminal defense lawyer, but who has also been teaching law, who has also served as a Solicitor General of the Republic. This is his life. He has practiced for years and has taught law and represented our country as the chief prosecutor of the country. So when Tiawan Gongloe speaks, he speaks from a background of his profession, his expertise. He comes with experience. He comes with authority. He's knowledgeable. He understands the law. He understands the country. He understands all the political dynamics concerning the rule of law. He even earned himself the name the poor man lawyer for his impartiality when it comes to the dispensation of law. Councillor Gongloe is not partial. He's impartial when it comes to the law. Let's hear from the councillor.
Fellow Liberians, once again, I'm here to speak to you about a very important training issue. As a criminal justice expert, someone who has been a Solicitor General and has been teaching criminal law for years.
You heard him there. Criminal justice expert. Solicitor General. Republic of Liberia. He served in that capacity before and has been teaching law.
Teacher at the police academy. I am so angry this morning.
He also taught at the police academy, teaching law enforcement officers how to apply the law.
To hear that Deputy Minister McGill, the man who was accused of raping a 14-year-old girl, is passing up and down the street. He should be in the police cell.
So he said this man should be in police cell. Though accused, but given, I quoted the law to you, Liberia Rape Law 2005 makes rape a first degree and non-bailable offense. So this man, according to the councillor, should be arrested, given the circumstances regarding this case.
That he are not being arrested. We cannot have selective justice. Article 11C of the Constitution calls for equal protection. The same way you treat people from West Point, Soniwan, or Vubadi in Sino, when they are accused of crime, the same way you should treat a high official of government. Why do I say so? When I was Solicitor General and my good friend Roland Khan was senator, and the police came to me with a report, a team led by Sam Sion, chief of investigation at that time, and said, we are investigating, but Senator Roland Khan's name has featured as a co-conspirator. I said, go and arrest him. I will answer the question. They told me, oh, he's a member of the Senate. Can't we write the Senate to excuse him to be arrested? I said, no, there's nothing in the law that says so. He was immediately arrested and put at the back of the pickup, handcuffed along with other defendants. All suspects of crime must be treated the same way. What is happening now undermines the error in the arrest agenda. It undermines the rule of law. I'm calling upon the police to immediately arrest former Deputy Minister McGill. He should be former Deputy Minister. This is wrong for a mayor who was appointed, nominated and confirmed by the Senate to protect the young people and to carry on youth development to become a threat to the survival of the young people is not anything that the government should take lightly. I'm calling upon President Boakai to tell the police director to move speedily, because these are the things that can make the police disrespected in the communities. The whole country is watching. If this high official of government is not treated like they can treat anyone who is unknown, suspected of statutory rape, the next time police go somewhere to arrest someone who is not of the same stature, the people will resist. But when a big man is treated in the same way a small person will be treated on suspicion of committing crime, police don't have much work to do. The people tend to cooperate, have trust in the police. So I'm calling upon the police director to immediately get on this. I have credibility to say this. I've been Solicitor General. I'm a criminal law professor. There is no justification for this man being out right now. I'm calling upon all actors in government, even members of the civil society, let us put the pressure to make sure that the victim gets justice. Thank you very much.
Councillor Gongloe, thank you. The councillor couldn't have said it right. He couldn't have said it so profoundly. There is no justification whatsoever for J. Bryant McGill to be a free man. He is accused of statutory rape, which is a non-billable offense. If this were an accusation against an ordinary citizen unknown, the police will act swiftly and arrest such person, and the police will be using the law, rightfully so. The police will be standing on the law to issue an arrest that rape is. Statutory rape is a non-billable offense in the first degree. A man of the law has spoken. He has called on the president. He even referred to the minister as a former minister because he thinks and believes this man should be fired. He explained that this man is charged with the responsibility to empower the young in Liberia, the youth of Liberia, the children of Liberia, in his capacity as youth and sport minister, deputy youth and sport minister. And this is the man who, based on audio evidence, confession from the girl, the account of the father, who is still a free man. The law is on the side of the police to issue an arrest, at least. But now we saw the police giving empty statement. What is needed now, based on the law, is an arrest should be issued. Pure and simple. What is also needed is for the president to act on the law that makes statutory rape a first-degree offense and a non-billable crime. From all that been reported, the evidence is overwhelming. So what is required is for the police to issue an arrest. To not do so for this long is a clear indication of selective justice, unfair application of the law. This is business as usual. When a big man in government commits a crime, either he's just arrested and taken to jail, the next day he's free, or he's never arrested at all. In the case of J. Bryant McGill, the deputy minister, who did not go anywhere else to commit this crime, allegedly, other than in the very ministry he works, and not against any other person's child, but the deputy chief of security's daughter at the very ministry he works. Imagine where the man may be able to go. If this man can do it in the very place of work against a security official's daughter, isn't it obvious? This man can do this thing anywhere. He is not even conscious of his workplace environment. He's being accused of misbehaving. And as we speak up to press time or broadcast time, not a single word has been heard from the president. The police spoke through it. Women Department spokesperson and the IG is yet to utter a single word. And the IG is a personal friend of mine. He knows me very well. This is unfortunate. Just as the IG will show himself on the camera to act in instances, some that are justifiable and right, and he will be quick on his feet. This is the time I wanted to see the IG, my friend, acting. For the law is on his side. For a crime has been committed, at least an arrest should have been issued or executed by the IG. The IG has dropped the ball. He's dragging his feet. I don't know what he's waiting for. If I cannot convince the IG, I think the well-known lawyer Tiawan Gongloe has convinced him. And he does not need Tiawan Gongloe to convince him. The law is on his side to do what is right. And so I joined Tiawan Gongloe, calling on the police IG to act and do the very needful. I joined Tiawan Gongloe to call on the president to do the needful. This is a low-hanging fruit. Act swiftly and boldly and immediately. The man has already asked for leave of absence. It has been granted, and he's chilling around. Why? The little child deals with the trauma. He threatened her life, and the father couldn't take it. And yet, our government drags its feet. In the arrest agenda, the R there stands for the rule of law. The rule of law is clear that when a statutory rape is committed by an individual, the fact that it is a non-billable offense, more so when the circumstances present evidence that are overwhelming, at least an arrest from the police must be executed in no time. And yet the police drags its feet. One of Liberia's future monarchs is being allegedly raped. The president, who is a father, has been informed based on reports. Yet he waits. While the girl remains in agony and deals with the trauma, and who knows what may happen to her. According to the story, she was seen late night. She must have been terrified and she couldn't go home. They discovered her somewhere around the SKD complex in the night because this guy threatened her, told her to be silent. She was afraid, but she couldn't take it. She had to narrate the story to her father, and the father came and recounted. And so, what is right to be done must be done. The whole country is watching. The police must act to earn its respect. The president must act to earn our respect. We are not going to quaver on this. We are not going to miss our words. It is our collective responsibility to demand justice. For far too long, impunity has become the order of the day. The president has been very eloquent on the issues, or some of the issues. Number one, there will be no business as usual. This smells as business as usual. And so I close with this. We stand with the people of Liberia in expressing deep concern and moral outrage over the grave allegation of sexual abuse involving Deputy Minister J. Brian McGill. The reported assault of a 14-year-old girl whose father serves within the same ministry is not only a personal tragedy, but a national reckoning. That at the workplace, an official of government will go after another official's child is beyond belief and should not be tolerated. We recommend action now. We commend the bravery of the victim and her family, especially Mr. Christopher Davis, the father, whose testimony has pierced the silence that too often surrounds such crimes. We also recognize the role of the independent media in amplifying truth and demanding accountability. But Liberians must do more than react. We must act. Liberia rape law of 2005 is clear. Statutory rape is a first-degree non-billable offense. The continued freedom of the accused undermines public trust. It sends a dangerous message to survivors across the country. We call on the Liberian National Police, the Ministry of Gender, and the Office of the President to ensure that the law is applied without fear or favor. This case exposes systemic failure in safeguarding children and responding to abuse. We urge a full audit of all internal protocol within the Ministry of Youth and Sports and a public review of how such cases are handled across government agencies. We remain committed to youth empowerment. But when youth empowerment creates an opportunity for people of power to abuse young children, we will not be silent. We reaffirm our pledge to protect, to uplift, and honor every young Liberian. We will not remain silent when those entrusted with leadership betray that very trust. On that note, my name is Anthony Sear, and this has been yet another edition of our program, The Hour of Politics. And until we come back here for yet another edition, the song that closes the broadcast says, "We are all Liberians." Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Is Liberia.